The prince never looked the same after that night. I was just a young boy when it happened, living in a small village on the outskirts of a great kingdom. Everyone knew about Prince Juma, the wicked prince who was said to be born under a dark omen. They said his eyes were black as coal and his heart even darker. One evening, when the moon was hidden behind thick clouds, a terrible scream echoed from the royal palace. It wasn't the kind of scream that came from a fight or an animal. It was a cry of pain, a sound so hollow it made your blood run cold. I was only a few houses away, and something pulled me to the palace walls, though I didn't know why. My feet moved without me thinking. I peered through the tall grasses that surrounded the palace gates, and that's when I saw him, Prince Juma, standing at the edge of the royal grounds, staring into the night with empty eyes. His clothes were torn, and his face was covered in blood. But it wasn't his blood. I saw something moving at his feet. It was a shadow, dark and quick, slithering like a snake across the dirt. Then the prince bent down and whispered something in its direction. I couldn't hear what he said, but the air felt thick, heavy, like it was pushing down on me. The shadow slowly rose, and I swear, it wasn't just the darkness. It had form, like a figure made of nightmares. An old woman's body, twisted and bent at angles no human could move. She stood tall, though, her face pale as death, and she smiled at the prince, an evil smile, showing teeth that were far too sharp. I was frozen, my heart pounding so loudly in my chest, I was sure they'd hear it. The woman spoke, her voice like the sound of dry leaves crunching. You are ready, my prince. The world will be yours to rule soon. Prince Juma didn't respond. He only nodded, and that was when he turned his gaze toward me. Those black eyes locked with mine, and I felt my body freeze, as if the air around me had turned to stone. Before I could move, the woman reached out to him. Her fingers twisted and stretched, and with a flick of her wrist, she made a gesture toward the shadows. Then the prince began walking, slowly at first but faster, until he was running, charging towards me like a beast. I stumbled back, desperate to get away. I ran with every ounce of energy in me, but it was no use. The prince was faster than any man had the right to be. I could feel him behind me, his breath hot on my neck, and his laugh. That laugh echoed through the night, sending chills down my spine. Then, just when I thought he would grab me, something snapped in the air, like a sharp crack of thunder, and I felt myself thrown to the ground. The prince was gone. I don't know how I managed to escape. I don't know what stopped him, but I know that something terrible happened that night. Prince Juma wasn't just a man anymore. He had something darker, something ancient, guiding him. They say the prince never ruled the kingdom after that, but I don't believe.